Hello everyone, welcome to the Moto Mengy channel. A little while ago I saw a video by Road Reality. He rode down to VAM 23 this year. Just a quick note, VAM, oh it's an acronym, it stands for something, I forget what, it's an acronym, it stands for something, I forget what it stands for, but VAM is a big motorcycle meetup that happens every year down in West Virginia. Run by Mr. G, 1965 actually. He's another motovlogger, YouTuber. Yeah, I think him and I think a few others put it together, but Mr. G's the one who started it. And it happens every year, like a July time frame. I've been meaning to go the past couple of years actually, but I keep missing it. Keep having things go on. Last year I had a family reunion. This year I was down in Florida. Every year it seems like I have something planned the same week as VAM happens. I'll put down below what VAM stands for. Something motorcycle, motovlogger meetup or something. I don't know, I forget. All I know is it's a motorcycle meetup. It happens every year. It's a party and I keep missing it. Maybe next year, maybe VAM 24 I'll be able to hit. I'll be able to get down and meet all these people that I've talked to and known for a while through online and YouTubing and stuff, whatever. Anyway, I watched a video by Road Reality where he went down to VAM 23. And Road Reality is another motovlogger on YouTube. He lives down in like Upper Maryland, I believe. Pretty sure that's where he is. And I talked about him before. He's a good guy, awesome personality, puts out a ton of videos. He's one of the most prolific motovloggers I know of. He puts out so many motovlogs. Just a hard worker when it comes to making motovlogs. But he's never really ridden long distance apparently. So when he rode down to VAM 23 this year, which is down around Tazewell, West Virginia, and from where he lives, it's a couple hundred miles, you know? Probably like 400 miles, I'm guessing, just off the top of my head. And apparently he's never ridden that far before, so this was a first for him. And he made a video, I'll link it up here in the corner in the card to his video where he talks about it, but he made a video where he complained about how he didn't like it so much, how he found it difficult, how it's not for him, and he didn't really enjoy it all that much, but he's proud he did it, you know what I mean? He makes a comment about getting out of your comfort zone once in a while and doing new things. And that's a good point. He's got a good point there. And he says, you know, like, he needs to get more used to this. He can go on more rides and go further and that kind of thing. And, you know, it's most motorcycle riders don't ride long distance. But today I wanted to make a video talking about long distance motorcycle riding because I have always loved riding long distance on motorcycles. And I've done a lot of long distance riding. In fact, I've done more long distance miles on motorcycles than I have in cars by a wide margin. I've hardly gone on any long distance car trips where I'm driving in a car, you know, or a four-wheeled vehicle. Nice old Bolins, wow. Anyway, distraction. But I've done a lot of long distance riding. I've gone coast to coast a few times from Pennsylvania here to the West Coast. I've gone up and down the East Coast more times than I can count, probably. I couldn't even begin to count how many times I go up and down the East Coast. From here to Smoky Mountains and Maggie Valley area, that kind of thing. I've gone down there dozens of times, probably. Literally, probably dozens of times from Pennsylvania. I've gone north too. I've gone up to Maine and Canada and Nova Scotia, that kind of thing too, a few times. Mount Washington, New Hampshire, the tallest mountain on the east coast of the United States. I haven't had the Goldwing up Mount Washington yet. I have to fix that. I haven't been up there in a couple years. Well, not 4 years. So well, let's see, 2018. Oh wow, almost 5 years. I bought this bike in late 2018. Yeah. So yeah, most motorcycle riders don't ride long distance. It's not something that they do. The majority of motorcycle riders don't ride more than a couple thousand miles per year. And it's down at the low end too. It's probably more like, I think the last time I read an article about it was more like 2,000 to 3,000 miles per year is like the average. And with a lot of people being less than like 2,000 miles per year, riding mostly local. And then you've got people like me who put on a lot more miles than that per year, like 10,000, 15,000 per year. But we're the minority, so a lot of the long distance riders ride a lot of miles, but there's such a small group of riders that they don't skew the average so much. So the average ends up being around 2,000 to 3,000 miles per year for motorcycle owners and riders. Welcome to Farm Country, Pennsylvania. Well, I found this video interesting, and you know, because I don't think about it very often, where I had no problem hopping on the Goldwing early in the morning, like 5, 6 in the morning, and riding for 800 miles in a day, 700 miles in a day. To me, I've done that dozens of times. My highest, my best miles per day ever was about 1,140 something or other. My brother and I did it once, one year, going from here out to Sturgis, I believe it was. I think we were going to Sturgis, South Dakota. But we wanted to get past the Chicago area before the end of our first day. And we just put the hammer down, you know? I mean, we rode, we got up very early, you know, it was still dark out. We did gas and goes the whole day. We skipped lunch. We got a snack or two at a gas station once in a while. It took 5 minutes to scarf it down, and on the road we went. And let me tell you, 1,000 miles in a day on a motorcycle is not entirely an easy thing to do. You've got to really focus and work at it. Like, you can't accidentally ride 1,000 miles in a day. It's not something you do and they go, oops, look what I did, you know? You got a strategy, you got to, you know, stick to the interstates. You got to hammer down and go. And yeah, you got to go a little above the speed limit. You don't have to probably, but if you want to get any sleep that night, that day, you will. You'll go a little over speed limit. But typically I like riding more like 600, 700, 800 miles per day. That's a comfortable day for me of riding. But most people are not like that. I mean, and part of it is you've got to have the bike for that too. You know, a touring bike or even a well-equipped cruiser bike is pretty much a requirement almost. You don't hear about people riding sports bikes, crotch rockets, 1,000 miles in a day. I'm sure there are some who do that, but man, that would be incredibly rough. I wouldn't want to do it. And I like having the option to get on the bike and ride for a full day and cover some distance. That's mainly why I get touring bikes and cruising bikes. But yeah, real reality, for this, you know, he rode like 400 miles in one day, maybe 350, 400, something like that, I forget. But I think it was around there, something close to that. And he had a rough time of it. He said it wasn't so much fun. And he hit some rain too, some bad weather. And that's an inevitable thing. When you're riding long distance, that's just gonna happen, almost always. That's why I always carry a rain suit back in the saddlebags, because when you're riding long distance, you're gonna ride through weather. It's almost always gonna happen. Not always, sometimes you get lucky, you have good days. Heck, I've ridden through some seriously crappy weather going long distance. Last year, my brother and a friend and I, 3 of us, were coming up from Maggie Valley, North Carolina, and we literally rode through the most rain I've ever ridden through in my life. It was a whole day of non-stop monsoon, just pouring, drenching rain. When you're riding long distance though, you gotta be ready for weather. You gotta be prepared. And real reality, he said, you know, he ran into some rain and he didn't enjoy it because, I mean, not to make fun of him or anything, but he's the kind of rider that stays home and keeps the bike in the garage when it's raining out. And like I said, that's most riders. That's normal. And I admit, if it's a rainy day and I want to go for a ride, I'm at home and it's raining outside, I'll probably do something else. I probably won't get the bike out. I don't actively try to ride in the rain, because riding in the rain is no fun. You do have reduced traction, and other drivers drive like crap in bad weather too, so you're just adding danger to the already dangerous act of motorcycle riding. Nice. Future motorcycle riders. So I'm not making fun of real reality for not wanting to ride in the rain and for not liking it. And this video is not about making fun of him for not liking riding long distance either, because yeah, he's normal. People like me who can ride 800 miles in a day, we're the unusual ones. We're strange. But for whatever reason, I have always loved riding long distance on motorcycles. My brother and I are both like this. And most of my friends are not. I have a couple friends who can ride the way my brother and I do. I have one friend who rides even more hardcore than my brother and I do. Although he's getting older now, so sorry Mike, but you are getting older. But when Mike was younger, he would ride like an animal. In fact, his friends gave him the nickname Animal for various reasons, but one reason is because of which he could ride his motorcycle just all day long without sleep. He's already, he's ridden Pennsylvania down to Jacksonville, Florida several times in one day, full through, straight through, one shot without stopping to rest or sleep. And I think that's something like 1,100 miles, I think, from here to Jacksonville, Florida. It's not a small trip, and it's not a fun trip either, because you're going down 95 almost the entire way. And 95 south out of Pennsylvania is a nightmare. It's dreadful. You get past the Washington-Baltimore area, and you finally open up into some easier traffic, but then it's just trees. All you look at is trees for like hours and hours and hours along 95 south, just trees. It's just not a fun ride, and that makes it even harder to ride long distance like that when you're not enjoying it, or when the scenery is dreadful, or when it's just monotonous. Now, Road Reality would have probably go down 81, I'm guessing, to Tazewell from his place. Now, I've always found Route 81, Interstate 81, once you're out of Pennsylvania, once you're in Virginia, I've always found it very pleasant to ride motorcycle on. You can cruise fairly easily without much traffic worries or without much congestion, except for a few spots along cities and stuff, whatever. But Interstate 81 in Virginia is pretty nice. It's one of the better interstates on the East Coast I found to ride motorcycle on. You got scenery, you got mountains, you got things to look at, the traffic ain't bad. There's enough curves in it to make it interesting, enough elevation changes, it's a nice road, it's a nice highway. Interstate 81 in Pennsylvania is a little less nice. The traffic can get crappy on 81 here in PA. Once you're out past Harrisburg going south, it's not too terrible. Now, some of the tips I have for long distance riding, some of the tricks I do to keep it, to keep fresh on the way, to make it bearable. When you do stop for gas, and maybe a snack or something, do some stretches too. I've always found that helps a lot. Just touch your toes, stretch your arms, twist your waist a bit, stretch your neck out. Just do like a minute or two of stretching before you get back on the bike and get back on the road. You'd be amazed how much of difference that can make alone. And another trick I do for long distance riding is eat very little. Make sure you drink fluids, because fluids is important. If you're riding in the summertime in the hot weather, you're going to sweat a lot, or sweat out a lot of fluid. So you want to drink regularly so you don't get dehydrated and stuff. I rarely find myself having to pee much when I'm on the motorcycle riding long distance, because you're sweating all the fluids out. So you can drink and drink and drink and not have to worry much about peeing. But if you stop to eat a lot, then you're going to have to go to the bathroom a lot. So I typically eat very little when I'm on the road making distance. Like I said, I might get a snack or a small sandwich or something, or a piece of pizza at a gas station, and then that's it. Something fast, I can scarf down and head back on the road again. And at every gas station, get something to drink. Fill your water cup. Now, I have a water cup on my bike. That makes all the difference when it comes to long distance riding. If you don't have something to drink, it can really get pretty, it can be annoying, it can not be fun. You want to stay hydrated. On my Heritage Softail, I used to put a water bottle up in front between the windshield and the headlight fairing. There's a nice spot up there, you can rest a nice water bottle, even a large one. Thanks, dude. And also stay cool. Surprisingly, when you're riding long distance, having your skin covered up, even on hot days, can keep you cooler than wearing a t-shirt and having your arms and stuff exposed, because the sun touching your skin, the sun beating down your skin, will make you warmer than you'll get wearing a jacket or a shirt or something to cover your arms up and stuff. And because you're on the highway riding interstate, the wind blowing over you with your skin covered to keep the sun off you will keep you cooler, in my opinion, than going in a t-shirt and something, and shorts and t-shirt. I mean, I don't wear shorts on the motorcycle ever, but people do. And also have a good seat. Having a comfortable seat is really, really, really important for long distance riding, because the seat is what is going to hurt your butt long term if you don't have a good seat under your butt. And I've had bikes with seats that weren't so great. Honestly, my 2016 Road Glide, I didn't like the seat on that, the stock seat. I thought it was terrible. So I replaced that seat, I think in the first year I had it, but I'm pretty sure it was the first year. Now my 2011 Road Glide, the seat was fine. I didn't have any problems with that at all, but the 2016 seat was different and I didn't like it. And that's pretty much all I can think of. Those are my tips for long distance riding. Let me know down in the comments if you like long distance riding on motorcycles or if you hate it. Have you ever done it? Or you like Road Reality and you've never really done it before? I mean, he just had his first long distance ride. Maybe you've never had a long distance ride. Maybe you've never bothered or never tried one yet. Let me know down below in the comments what you think, what your comments are, and if you have any questions, I'll answer your questions too. But yeah, I found this video interesting, because I often forget just how odd I am. Well, no, I mean, Deer reminds me all the time how odd I am. But when it comes to long distance riding though, I often forget how unusual I am that I enjoy it. Because most riders just don't. So on that note, thanks for watching. Thanks for riding along. I'm gonna go for a longer ride than I have today. But not, you know, a couple 100 miles today. I gotta get home and get some work done, so take care, ride safe, and see you next time.
My wife asked me when I got back, would you do it again? And I said, honestly, honey, I don't know. But after reviewing the footage and going through everything and reliving it in my head for 5 or 6 days now, I think I will. Yep, as long as it's not like forecasted to be 4 days of nonstop rain.